Hey there, everybody. Glenn here. We're going to take a couple days break from our subscription box reviews. We've got a lot more coming up, so don't worry about that. But I wanted to kind of change gears a little bit. Had a few requests, a few suggestions that I start getting into some specific pop figure reviews, since I collect so many of them. And I've had some requests to go through my collection and go over the history of some of the figures that I've gotten over the past 3 years or so. So I thought that'd be a great video. We'll see how it turns out. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this yet, but we'll see, and hopefully it's something that you're interested in and something that I don't bore you too much with. But before we get into it, I wanted to kind of go over my history with pop figures and how I started with them and where I am today. I started collecting pop figures about 3 years ago. It was about the time that the first Hobbit movie came out. And the reason I remember that is because one of the first pop figures I got was that Gollum right there. So when I first started collecting pop figures, it was just because I had seen a couple and I thought they were a very cool style collectible. I'd never seen anything like it before. And I just wanted to, have them around my bedroom and, a couple here and there. And then once I started collecting them, I really started to get a passion for it. So since I was just starting to collect those pops, and at the time, 3 years ago, I really didn't think too much about them as a collectible, something that I would want to keep, like wrap up like a comic book. So when I started collecting them, I really wanted to display them around, on my desk mostly. I'm playing computer games. I like having a couple of figures around. So I discarded the boxes. I had no reason to keep the boxes, right? I wanted to. That's what you did. You took a toy out of the box and you displayed it. As I got a little further into collecting them, and started seeing the websites and talking to collectors and going to conventions and things like that, I started to realize these are actually real collectible items that increase, decrease in value, and have a value beyond just displaying. So now my first 20, 30 pops, I did not keep the boxes. I tossed them, right? So, and it just so happens that those first 20 or 30 are probably, if I had the boxes, the most valuable ones that I had. So, and that's okay. I didn't get into this to resell and to make a business out of it. I got into it because I really liked the pop figures and I liked them out of the box. So, that having been said, once I started being an out-of-box collector and getting them up on shelves and everything, I didn't want to stop doing that. I didn't want to, stop being an out-of-box collector because that's what I got into it to begin with. I really liked the idea of them being out and to where you could see them and really, look at them not through some, plastic window. So, what I started doing is collecting pops, getting them out of the boxes, but keeping the boxes as well. And I'll show you my little empty box area. But I keep the box so that if I have to put them back in a box, if I want to trade or sell them for, if I have extras and things like that, then I have the box already and I can go ahead and put them back. So, but, a good amount of my first pop figures don't have the boxes with them. So there's that. And then as I started looking into things like, exclusives and things that you can only get at Comic Cons, and Hot Topic has a lot that have an exclusive sticker, I keep those in the box. So I'm an out-of-box collector, but I also have quite a few pops that stay in the box just because they're exclusives and that they have some resale and some trade value down the line as well if you keep them in the box. So I don't worry too much about dust, stuff like that. They stay pretty clean until I move them. And that was another mistake I made in the beginning, was when I moved, I would just, throw them all in a box so they got dented up, they got scuffed up. I'd take a magic eraser to them every once in a while to try to get them cleaned up and stuff. But so, I made those early mistakes with regards to collecting them. But again, back then I wasn't collecting them. So, okay, that's about it for where we are and where I am with collecting pops. So let's take a look at the collection. All right, so let's start off with my first pops, which are the Marvel collection. You see some of those early pops like Wolverine up there in the corner, Spider-Man, Captain America. Those are the comic book versions of the characters, and those are some of the earlier ones. And as you get through, you start getting into some of the movie characters. The first movie one is that Nick Fury back there, and that's from the first Avengers, and then you got Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man. And then some other random Marvel characters. That Doctor Doom is kind of a sought-after pop. Couple of Deadpools, and then that Iron Man starts where Iron Man 3 is. I didn't get a whole lot of the Avengers ones, but I got all the Iron Man 3 Iron Mans. That Deep Space Iron Man right there is requested a lot in trades, as is that Logan right there. I do have the boxes for Logan, and for Deep Space Iron Man, so I do have boxes for those. Red Hulk is pretty highly sought after. There's Thor and Loki from Thor 2, The Dark World. Then you get into the second shelf of Marvel, and you've got the Winter Soldier, Captain America the Winter Soldier. You've got 4 figures from there, and then you get into Guardians of the Galaxy. It's kind of hard to see Rocket back there because he's so short. Guardians of the Galaxy. Then you get into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which there was only one at the time, and that was Coulson. There's Odin and Sif. And then you get into a couple of classic X-Men characters, Dancing Groot. And then you get into the Age of Ultron characters. So you've got all the Age of Ultron line, which most of us that collect Pops have now. So you've got all those. And I threw a couple of the keychains I have next to them as well. And there's Ultron himself. And then you've got the second line of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is mostly the villains. And then you've got Melinda May, which is the last Marvel character I have at the moment. Along with the minis from Age of Ultron and a couple of random minis back there as well. Okay, second shelf starts off with my Star Wars pop figures. These are some of the first ones that I collected back in the day. You'll notice some of them, most of them have the little stand. Some of them don't. And the reason for that is, same as with the boxes, back then, I wasn't really thinking as a collector. I was thinking as someone who wanted to display them, and I really didn't like the stands. So a lot of the figures, I just got rid of the stands. So some of them I haven't replaced the stands for yet. These ones in the back, most of them are the original figures. They've re-released some of them, like the Leia, both Leias, Han Solo. Some of them they've re-released, but most of those are the originals except for the Greedo and the Jedi Luke, which I got recently as the re-releases. Alright, so we've got some more Star Wars. And Star Wars ends with the Emperor and Hammerhead. And then we go into the movies collection. Jason Voorhees is the first of the movies pops. A couple of Gremlins. These next 3 right here are fairly valuable when in the box. And those are V for Vendetta, Gollum. Gollum is actually one of the first pops that I collected, what I ever got. So, and then Rocky. I've got some more movie pops, a couple from Watchmen. Then we get into a couple more random ones. That one right there is Invisible Bilbo from The Hobbit. A lot of people ask me what that one is because when they're looking at my videos, it's hard to tell. A couple more movies, and then movies ends up with the Ghostbusters. And there's Sauron on the end from The Lord of the Rings. And a couple of the newer ones from The Matrix, Penguins, 21 Jump Street. And that last one is Cthulhu. And Cthulhu is from the books line of Pops. He's not in the movies, but he's the only books one that I have, so I just threw him on the end. Alright, next we've got the DC line, which is called Pops Heroes. We've got the first couple, which are Batman, Robin, and Batgirl. Batgirl's pretty highly sought after in trades and value. Some more of the DC Pops. There's Man of Steel plus Zod. There's the first of my many Harley Quinns. The rest of them are in boxes. We've got the 60s Batman set, most of them anyway. And then we get into Arkham Asylum. My last DC is Arkham Asylum Ivy, who has a tendency to fall down because her feet are so small. Then we go into the Disney line, starting with the 2 Jacks. That Genie is a very valuable pop if you can find it in the box. Couple of my random DC minis here as well. Continuing on with Disney, we've got The Rocketeer, some Frozen, Robin Hood, and that character is from Big Hero 6. And then we get into the games line, so the Pop games. These are all Blizzard games that I have right here. So we've got Illidan and the Lich King, Diablo, Tyrael, Kerrigan, what's his face from StarCraft, Sylvanas, Raynor. And then I have one from the holiday edition of Pops, and that's just Bunny Suit Ralphie. And then this one is from the Major League Baseball mascots line, and that one is the Swinging Friar from the Padres. I've got one of the Muppets line, and that's Kermie. And then we get into Game of Thrones. So I've got a few from the Game of Thrones. These are some of the early ones. Then you got Tyrion in battle armor. A couple of Pops as well, or mini Pops from the Game of Thrones line. And then continuing with Grey Wind, a couple of Pops I just got this week, which Sansa and Samwell. The Mountain is there. And then we get into Pop animation. So that is Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles. And then you've got one random guy that I don't know who he is from Dragon Ball Z. And then Leela from Futurama. And then Ray Gun Stewie, which I just got today, so I should be getting the other Family Guys here shortly. And then I've got one so far from the Sesame Street line, and that is Super Grover. All right, next we've got the television line of Pops, starting off with Homer back there. Homer's actually a pretty valuable Pop figure, one of the more valuable ones in my collection, and I just got a replacement box for him, so I'll probably be putting him in box pretty soon so he doesn't get messed up. We've got some more. He-Man's pretty valuable as well. Some more from television, random television ones. Then we get to Ninja Turtles. I only have 2 of the 4 Ninja Turtles, but I've got almost all of the ancillary guys. Then we get into a couple more Walking Dead. The Walking Dead ones are kind of spread out throughout the television ones because as they release them, they don't bunch them up with the other Walking Dead ones. They just kind of put them where they need to put them. So there's a couple Star Trek as well. A few of the Walking Dead minis I've collected so far, and a couple of the keychains. Then we go into the next shelf, which is we've got Thundercats. There's Bill Compton from True Blood, Sharknado, again a couple of randoms, a couple from Breaking Bad, and then my last 2 in the television line are from The Arrow. Right here in this corner are all of my empty boxes. So these are the boxes that I've collected along with the Pops that I've taken out of the box, and they are here for safekeeping in case I need to travel with them and don't want to damage with them. As I mentioned in the first part of this video is, I didn't start off by keeping all the boxes, so a lot of my more valuable Pops are out of box and don't have the boxes for them. So, oh well, what are you gonna do? And now we get into my boxed figures. Now these boxed figures are all the ones that have stickers on them. Some of them don't have stickers, like I got them online, but they're still in that same kind of, they don't have the value that the sticker ones do, but they still are there. And I've also got a couple that are in box that are a little more valuable than, they're still commons, but they're retired, like that Gandalf from The Hobbit. All right, so we've got, Philip Rivers, that might become, depending on what he does, if he goes to a different team, that might become more valuable, so I kept that in the box. There's a couple of those Harley Quinns I talked about. A glow-in-the-dark Cthulhu. There is the Joker Batman from Loot Crate. A couple of pre-releases. The pre-releases really aren't going to be that valuable, but they do have the stickers on them, and a lot of Pop collectors live for the stickers. A couple of Comic-Con boxes. These are the Big Bang Theory guys that transporting Star Trek outfit guys. Couple of DC characters. We get into a couple of Hot Topic Game of Thrones and Walking Dead figures. This figure right here, this Tobias Funke Blue from Arrested Development, that's my only chase figure. Now what a chase figure is it's an ultra valuable pop because they're inserted randomly into cases that go out to retailers. So if any retailer that knows what he's doing, when he spots these chase figures, he's going to pull them out and put them behind a glass case and charge an exorbitant amount for them. So if you can find these chase items in the wild, and I think your best option, you don't usually find them, but the best chance you have is going to be at like a Barnes & Noble or someplace that wouldn't necessarily know what they're getting when they put those out on the shelves. Comic book store, you're almost never going to find a chase figure for a regular price. This one I think I got off of eBay or Amazon or something like that. But that's my only one. And that's the blue version. A couple more Comic-Con ones. Right here are my Doctor Who figures that I've just got recently. And I'm not that much into Doctor Who, but I thought these individually were very nice figures, and I really like that TARDIS in the back because it's an extra big size, so you can actually fit one of the Doctor figures in there. So I might do that if I take them out of the box. Couple more Hot Topic exclusives: Hipster Jasmine, splattered Invisible Predator, Black Lantern Reverse Flash, a couple of Entertainment Earth exclusives like the multicolored Batmans, which I'm still expecting 3 more. So those are my main sticker ones. Now up here on this shelf, these are my Star Wars stickered exclusives. You've got Flocked Wampa there, it's a Hot Topic exclusive. We've got a few of the GameStop exclusives that came out a few weeks ago. And then we've also got some of our convention exclusives, actually the Star Wars Celebration exclusives from last month as well. So I had to put up a separate shelf just because I was getting too many of these box figures, and they take up a lot more room than the All right, and then my biggest shelf up here is for my Marvel rares, retireds, and exclusives. So we've got a few of those. Here are the ones from Walgreens. I've got some Hot Topics. That Dark Phoenix is a valuable non-exclusive, but I actually had the box for her, so I put her back in her box. The Hulks from both Hot Topic and Barnes & Noble. Amazon exclusive Star-Lord. And then the last one I just got was the Target exclusive Vanishing Vision there. And then I needed to make a whole new shelf for all my oversized pops that I wanted to take out of the box. So you've got Thanos, you've got the Hulkbuster, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, there's Deathwing, and one of the dragons from Game of Thrones. I forget which one that is. I think it's Viserion. So I had to make a whole new shelf for those as well. Well, that was it for my pop figures. Hopefully you enjoyed checking out my collection here. As I said, when I get more, and I generally keep getting more pretty quickly, we'll go through and I'll review those pops. We'll take them out of the box. We'll check them out. I'll give you a little bit of a history and background about why I selected that particular pop and where it falls in my collection, and we'll kind of go from there. So stay tuned. In a couple of days, we're going to come back with another subscription box review. This one's going to be on the Z-Box, which I just got in, so that'll be fun. I'm excited about that. And until then, again, make sure that you're subscribing to the channel, and if you leave a comment, then you'll be entered in the big giveaway at the end of the May boxes. Keep hitting us up on Facebook. We keep going up and down with likes. It seems like overnight I'll lose 40 likes and then the next day gain another 30. So we can't quite hit that 200 likes, but keep sharing, keep telling your friends. And we're at, I think, 96 subscribers on YouTube. We get to 100, and there's going to be another little mini giveaway for that. So until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.